We're here at round 5, and as you can see, it's made in mint. Round 5 is the first round where we start working in back loops only, and if you remember, we had a little chat about overlay crochet at the beginning of the project, and in order for overlay crochet to work, you need to use back loops only for quite a lot of the project. If you have a little read of your pattern, this is the point at which the rest of the project is worked in back loops only, unless it's otherwise indicated. So what does that mean? Well, we've got two loops, if you want to call them that, which make up a crochet stitch. You can see your V sitting quite neatly there. The back, normally we go through both loops like that. Back loop only, you just go through, as the name would suggest, that back one like that. So you can see there's just one strand going over the top of the hook. It's no more complicated than that. What it does, I've worked this into the red round below. Here's the one we'll be working into in a minute. So I've worked just into the back loop like that of the red round, and what it's done is it's left me the front loops. Can you see the front loops just there? There they are, look. It's left us those to work into when we come back around. Now what that's going to mean, if I show you the actual mandala, can you see if I place this where it sits, like so, if I take that away, you can see there's no mint circle sitting there. Let me show you that again. There's no mint circle sitting there. It's completely disguised by the pepper rounds that are going over the top of it. If I turn it onto the back, you can see that way up. You can see that mint round is there. It's just hidden. It's very, very clever. So it's under there, giving us a basis for our overlay crochet, and this is working back loops only is the key to all of it. So I think that is an important thing to bear in mind for this round. This is the point where we start in the back loops only. There's not a great deal of difference really between what we're doing here and what we've done in the previous round. In the previous round, if you remember, we did these front post trebles, and we're going to do more of the same in this round, just to go around the kind of the outer circle of the popcorn stitches. So let's have a look at how that's done. Shouldn't be too many surprises for you. Right, to begin with, we're going to join our yarn into the top of any of the front post trebles from the round before. So front post treble is here, and the top, I'm going to put my hook right there. And again, little reminder, we're not going through the stitch in the normal way, so under 2 strands like that. We're going through just the back loops only. So try to remember that, because when you come round to use those front loops, if they're not there, it is a tremendous pain. Trust me. Of course I've done it. Of course I've undone it all, so you don't have to. So listen to Auntie Emelina. My name's not Emelina, but I wish it was. Right, so I've attached the yarn. I should stop banging on and just do that, shouldn't I? By putting my hook through the back loop, picking up the strand and pulling it through. Okay, and I'm going to make one more chain like that, and that is going to count as my first double crochet on this round. UK terms, people, UK terms. So we are going to do, including this as our first double crochet, we're going to do 3 double crochet. So that's 1, this is number 2, back loops only, this is number 3. Okay, and we're now going to make that first front post treble. Now you're going to be familiar with this from the round before, so I'm not going to go on too much about it, but in case you're joining us at this round, here's how we're going to do it. Yarn round the hook, hook back to front around that popcorn stitch from round 3, and then just finish off the treble in the normal way. Okay, here is another point I want to stop and have a little explanation of something that's in the pattern. Amanda, early on in the pattern, if you've read it, you will notice that she said on some occasions you're going to have to skip stitches and on other occasions you're not. it can sometimes cause a bit of confusion. So Amanda, rather brilliantly, has just told us every single round what to do and what not to do. And on this round, she says skip no stitches. I want to just pull this front post treble forward and just have a little chat to you about where that stitch is, because it can be tricky to see. The next stitch is this one here. The stitch, when we've worked it, sits right over the front of it, so you could be kind of forgiven for moving on to the next one to the left of it, but you don't want to do that. You want to pull that stitch forward and make sure you work every single stitch along this round. So don't miss out this fella, because you're going to need that later on, I think. Right, so back loops only again. Whoops, back loops only again, and we are back to working double crochet, and we're going to finish our repeat by doing 2 double crochet. So our repeat is 3 double crochet, 1 front post treble, 2 double crochet. Okay, so that is 1 repeat there, and you're going to do that all the way around. I've read the pattern and I'm not sure that that's obvious. That's my fault, I've overlooked that. But you know we're making rounds. You don't need to be handheld like that, do you? So here we go with our second repeat. Just make sure you're starting at the top of that front post treble every time. That's your anchor point. I often talk about anchor points if you work on videos with us. Your anchor point is that stitch number 1 of your repeat is also always going to fit in the top of this front post treble from the round before. So 3 double crochet, 1, 2 and 3, then front post treble around the popcorn stitch, so back to front around the popcorn stitch of round 3, finish your treble, and then finish your repeat with 2 double crochet, remembering to pull your stitch forward and work into the stitch that is hidden behind. That, I think, is all you're going to need to know for this round. There's nothing more complicated than that. So I'm going to finish this off and come back to you for the needle join so we can have another little practice of that. Okay, that's the last front post treble I've got to do, so I'm now doing my last 2 double crochet, and we will quickly have a look at that needle join again. So I'm going to trim the ends. Right, so I've taken the hook out. As you can see, the stitch is still live. So we're just going to do a little practice of needle join. We did it on the last round, and you're probably super expert by now, but let's just do it again. I've threaded my needle. I'm going to pull the needle through the loop from back to front and just pull that yarn a little, not too tight, just to make that stitch a similar size to all the others. I am going to sit that stitch over the top of stitch number 1 from the previous round. So to do that, I'm going to find stitch number 2, which is this one here, and I'm going to follow the line of it with my needle, following, going under, pull through, following, and now it's going to go back down from whence it came. And just to make it secure, I'm going to go back through the top of the stitch from underneath as well. Okay, so there we have a very lovely continuous round of stitches in the back loop only. I'm going to fasten this off, and then do you know what? I think we should just crack on. Let's just move on to the next round. So before I do that, actually, can I just I must just summarise. I was working around there thinking I must summarise. To summarise for this row, no, for this round. Oh, to summarise for this round. It's actually slick and seamless, isn't it, this video? But there we go. To summarise for this round, we're working back loops only. Don't forget that. That's really important. Don't forget to work every single stitch. So you need to pull forward those front post trebles to make sure you work the stitch behind. I think that's it actually. So front posts, work every stitch. Yeah, that's it. Make sure when you're finished, all of your outer ring of popcorns have got this nice front post treble sitting around them, and then if you've got all of that going on, you're good to go, and it's time to move on.